Alright, guys, so this is another Patreon request, and this one comes from Tom Hibbert, and this is one. This is actually one where I'm like, huh. I'm surprised more people don't think about this one, including myself. And that is Silent Hill X-Files. So, yeah. This is something, honestly, I heard somewhere that, like, IDW, when they had the comic rights for a hot second of Silent Hill, they wanted to do with X-Files, but apparently rights got in the way. Because remember, for those who don't know, it's not like comic companies, now that they have the comic rights, they can do whatever. The thing is that they have to go through certain channels with the IP owner. So that's why I know I'm getting on a tangent here, but this is I'm just kind of explaining a point here. That's why in the Star Trek Doctor Who crossover that happened years back, they had to go through multiple channels between Paramount and BBC to get it even, like, licensed to actually do it. Yeah. So, here we are with Silent Hill X-Files. So, the story is that Mulder and Scully are investigating a series of lost children. These kids have been taken by something in the night, and that all leads to one place: Silent Hill. Reason being is because there's always like the name Silent Hill showing up in writing at these abduction sites, where the children are taken, and all that's left is Silent Hill. Now, Mulder and Scully do know about the vanishing at Silent Hill. They do know about the events of what led to Silent Hill being deserted, but Mulder, of course, digs his heels a little deeper, and of course is like, there was more rumors and whatnot going on in the world of in the town of Silent Hill. Like, there had been a lot of paranormal activity, and Scully's just like, it was just a man-made disaster. That's all it was. That's all it will ever be. So just, get over it, Mulder. We got shit to do. So that's where they are. Essentially that's where they are, is that Mulder and Scully head out to Silent Hill. And at first, like, the moment they arrive, it's like this moment of just like this sense of like urgency and dread come over them. It's just this just moment that comes upon them that is, holy shit, there's just this moment where it's like it got real for them. Like, it completely 100% got real for the both of them. And they've never had that sense before. And just as they're looking at the sign, even Mulder's like, he tells Scully, like, Scully, I've never had this before, but, like, there's a part of me that wants to turn back. And Scully's like, yeah, I feel it too, but, we're the only ones who can find the kids, so we need to go deeper. So they cross into the city, into the town of Silent Hill. And it is foggy, and it's not too long that literally, not too long into they get in there, that Mulder and Scully are separated and both set in deeper into the town. So Scully, in her separation, in her little separate story, in her story, she's basically kind of delving into, like, the history of Silent Hill, and also kind of coming into contact with her beliefs head on. Like, this is like, holy shit, this is something unreal. And I've seen some unreal shit with Mulder in the past, but this is like defying any kind of, my inner skeptic just does not have anything on, literally nothing here I can explain, or kind of like will away or something of that nature. There's nothing here that I can just explain away in any way, shape, or form. And of course, like, I'd love to have this scene where, like, Scully gets kidnapped and abducted by the nurses. Like, she just gets abducted by, of course, the nurses. And Mulder, on the other hand, is basically kind of caught in, like, this odd loop where he's seeing himself as a kid, seeing his sister get abducted by aliens. Like, that's his thing, is that he's kind of caught in this loop, being abducted by the Greys, and over, like, he keeps going into his sister's room over and over again, and it's slowly becoming more and more like an autopsy table in a UFO. And in here, the Greys, like, are more twisted, more like cracked mirror versions of the typical Greys. Eventually, the two do find each other. Mulder and Scully do manage to find each other again, and they do manage to, like I said, manage to find each other. About this time, of course, you know who probably shows up at this point, and that's good old Pyramid Head. And when Pyramid Head shows up, it is a fucking shit show. Pyramid Head is just coming at them again and again, and it's horrifying. Like, it's straight up, like, horrifying for the both of them. They're shooting at him. It's literally doing nothing. They also got to deal with the other creatures that are coming after them. It's becoming just horrifying, really. However, by the end of it, they manage to like get their way out, and they do discover that what was bringing the kids here is a little horrifying, because what it turns out is that there were no kids at all. It wasn't even like, they look into records and they're like, these kids didn't exist at all. It's almost like the town was beckoning us directly to come find it. Yeah. That's yeah, it's a little fucked up, because there was no children at all. It was just all of a ploy of, like, of Silent Hill beckoning them to come to it. Like, basically by the end of it, Scully is becomes more like broad in her mind, and Mulder has to, like, his whole thing, his takeaway from being at Silent Hill is that he has to realize and understand that losing his sister was not his fault. That's what it all comes down to, is like, it was never his fault for failing his sister, and Scully has to accept that this is bigger than them. I would say, if I was to put this somewhere, I'd say like somewhere nebulously between season 1 and 2, where we still had a little bit of skeptic Scully, but it was slowly fading. And yeah, this would still be like Mulder, who is basically doing this to, find out the truth, but also he's doing this for his sister. So this would be, like I said, a nice little leeway between seasons 1 and 2. Not when Mulder left. Obviously, that's we don't talk about that season. We don't talk about the X-Files after that. We do not in any way, shape, or form talk about that. But anyway, so there you go. I'd like to thank Tom Hibbert for his continued patronage and support for the channel and on Patreon. And as always, if you'd like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link below. Head on over to my Patreon, where if you hit the 4th tier, you guys can send me requests for videos to do here on YouTube. But other than that, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.